Hi everyone, my name is Kimberly Welch and I'm going to do a presentation on phobias. And right now it's psychological fear many individuals endure. What constitutes a phobia, and does anyone have to suffer because of one? The most common one everyone is aware of is arachnophobia, fear of spiders. And then triskaidekaphobia is fear of the number 13. Did you know there are 530 documented phobias? And you can view the compiled list based on findings in medical references at www.phobialist.com. And if you look, I have handouts for everybody. And that's the actual entire list. So feel free to scan through it if you want. If there's a phobia you're thinking of, it's probably in there. Okay, and then while in grade school, I found it difficult to give book reports, which is where this all started. I couldn't get out of my chair, I froze. I just could not do it. So, the grade I received for those performances were zeros. But it didn't matter to me because my fear was greater than failing at that time. So, I have a fear of public speaking. And that term is glossophobia. Now that I am older, I am trying to overcome my fear by participating in a speech class at the college I am attending. In my head, my speeches are always flawless, they go just perfectly, but as soon as I get the all clear, I start getting nervous. My heart races, my face gets red, and then but I'm trying to make myself get through it, just as I just did. It's the same thing. But with each speech, I feel like I'm getting a little better than I was at the last time, which is good because it's going to make me better in the end. During a National Institute of Medical Health study conducted in 2005, anxiety disorders, which included some phobias, were among the most common psychiatric illnesses, with 28.81% of adults diagnosed with one or more at some point in life. So it's a pretty big number there.
Exactly.
And you'll see more detailed statistics in a few minutes. We'll also cover the 3 types of phobias, the symptoms surrounding them, and what can be done to relieve the anxiety, and whether medical attention is necessary. First, let's start with some history. In Greek mythology, Phobos was the son of Ares and Aphrodite. Phobos meant the personification of fear brought on by war. The first known use of the word phobia started in 1786. And then, according to the Mayo Clinic, the definition of a phobia is an overwhelming and unreasonable fear of an object or situation that poses little real danger. And then in the 1920s and 30s, John Watson founded behaviorism, which was the dominant psychology at that time. And it also included phobias. And then during the 1960s, Joseph Wolk helped institute cognitive behavioral therapy, in which he developed a treatment that helps patients by incrementally exposing them to their fears. And then in 2005, Arne Oman, a psychologist and phobia researcher at the Karolinska Institute of Sweden, spoke of their findings at that time, in which a group of researchers found that the amygdala, which is a small almond-shaped structure located in the middle of your brain, has a large role in why phobias occur. It appears that when they get a little malfunction goes on in there, it causes these fears to come out. So they conducted a study with patients with and without Williams syndrome, and showed them pictures of just mean, nasty people, and then also showed them pictures of like a building burning and a plane crashing, just to see what their reactions were, and compared them with a normal person. And then, so in just a moment, we'll see the slides side by side, what their reactions were. And then Williams syndrome is a genetic condition that occurs at birth. And then later in life, it can cause cardiovascular disease, developmental delays, and learning disabilities. But these people have strong verbal abilities, and they're a very social person. So that's why this study, when they showed pictures of people, was important, because as you see, this is a person with Williams syndrome. Now this is looking at the faces. You barely even notice anything with the amygdala. But down here, when he sees the scenes of the building burning, it just inflamed. But now this is a normal. So they found that interesting, that angry faces don't bother them because they just overlook things. They're a social bird. There are 3 types of phobias. Social phobia is a fear of negative evaluation by others, public scrutiny, humiliation, such as talking to people, eating or drinking. Then agoraphobia is a fear of leaving your home. You don't want to get on a bus, plane, you don't want to go out in public. And specific phobia is a fear of a single specific thing or condition, which is like fear of heights, spiders, and being enclosed in spaces, which is claustrophobia. And now you each have a handout that shows some more statistics on agoraphobia. Demographics, its average age of onset is 20 years old. And then severe cases, in this case, after a 12-month study, is 0.3 of the population have severe illness. And then down at the bottom is just a little health care, who's using health care and who's using other services to try and deal with that. And now we have specific phobia, which is the next slide. And you'll see in that case, 1.9% of the U.S. adult population are classified as severe. And then the demographics on that is it comes at as early as 7 years of age. And again, you have your who's using health care and other services to help them out with their disorders. So now let's review the symptoms and the cures. According to Mayo, uncontrollable anxiety when exposed to the source of your fear, like sitting on an airplane, trying to avoid what you fear no matter what, unable to function normally because of your anxiety, and you feel your fears are unreasonable or exaggerated, but you're powerless to control them. Sweating and heartbeat, rapid heartbeat, difficulty breathing, feeling of panic and intensity, that's probably the more common. And unreasonable fear can be an annoyance. So if you're having to take the stairs instead of an elevator, it isn't considered a phobia unless it seriously disrupts your life. If anxiety affects your ability to function at work or socially, consider seeking medical or psychological treatment. And most people can be helped with the right therapy. Conclusion. Phobias have been found to be linked to family members through observations while growing up as a child. That's how they found Howard Hughes, because he had a huge phobia about germs and that kind of thing. It turns out that his mother started that when he was little because polio was going around. So phobias can be a small part of a larger condition, which is anxiety disorders. And depending on the severity of the disorder, most can be controlled. Treatments may require behavioral therapy, medication, or both, just depending on what the doctor's evaluation turns out. And I hope that I've touched on phobias you are already aware of, and then gave you enough background on some background information on phobias that you weren't aware of. And most, just remember, most phobia symptoms can be resolved with some form of treatment. And now I want to leave you with an inspirational quote taken from Dune, which you should all be familiar with, written by Frank Herbert in 1965. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone will be nothing. Only I will remain.
And then jump on the giant bird.